Hello, welcome everybody. We're glad you're here with us today. My name is Lauren Woodburn, and this is Mark Cormier. We are here to talk golf, something we both love, and what we love about golf is working with competitors, golfers who want to take their game to the next level. And so that's what we focus on here. I am a golf performance coach, and so I help you get your mind in the right place so that you can perform the way that you practice, so that you can take your best skills to tournaments and make your way to the top of the leaderboard.
Perfect.
And Mark does a little bit of the physical side.
Yeah, and my name is Mark Cormier. Thanks, Lauren. And yeah, so Lauren would deal with more of the mental side, and I help golfers really work on their bodies and take what we do in the weight room or in the gym or whatever you want to call it and transfer that to the golf course. But Lauren's going to start, and Lauren's going to teach us how to train our mind.
Yeah, so this is my favorite thing to talk about. And the beauty of today's lesson is that we're going to start with the very beginning stages of how to start working on your mind, how to start doing it today, and taking little steps to create the game that you want and to create the confidence that you want in your game. So if you haven't realized this yet, let me teach you that your thoughts create your results. Once you learn how to hit the golf ball, once you learn how to execute shots and how to work on the physical side of the game, your thoughts are what really allow you to perfect those skills in competition. When there's a little more pressure, there's a little more anxiety, you feel like there's a little more on the line. Your thoughts are what make it possible for you to still compete, to still play your best. And if you think about it, the one thing that set Tiger Woods apart and from all of his competition was his mind. His mind was incredible. The way that he saw the course, the way that he saw himself as a player, it was amazing because when things went wrong on the course, it didn't make him think any less of himself as a golfer, which is pretty amazing. And so the first step in changing your mind and in making a difference for your game is to create awareness. So I'm going to teach you a really easy way to start doing that. Because sometimes we think that our thoughts just happen to us. Like you hit the ball in the water, and so you just automatically think that that wasn't a very good shot, or you knew that was going to happen, or you think, I shouldn't have done that, or I should have hit a different club, I should have clubbed up. And your thoughts go to a certain place, and you think that just happens. But it's actually because you started thinking that way one time, and it's your brain, because it likes to make things easy, has just created a thought loop. And so that thought loop is that anytime you hit the ball in the water, or anytime you hit the ball in the sand, this is what you think. You think, man, I shouldn't have done that, or I knew that was going to happen. But also works the opposite way. Every time you get a birdie, or every time you stick it close, you think, man, I'm really good at this game, or I'm really figuring this out, or I hit my wedges so well, or you sink a 30-foot putt and you're like, I'm such a good putter. But those thoughts can be intentional. And when you realize that your thoughts create all of your results and that you have the power to change your thoughts, that's when things get really exciting. And that's when things start to change. So start choosing thoughts that create results. And this starts when you start noticing what thoughts you're having. And you start to notice what thoughts are coming up for you. You start to get curious about your game. So start journaling. Now, for some of you, you're like, I don't journal. I do not journal. That sounds horrible. And I get that. But if you really want to make the difference, you have to start to notice patterns that happen. You have to start to notice what you think when things go wrong and what you think when things go well. And then you need to start to find the thoughts that really work for you, that start to help you perform at your best. And so this is an easy list of steps that you can follow, okay? The Journal of Champions, that's what we're calling it, because you best believe that the professionals out there are taking notes and that their coaches are taking notes on what happens on certain holes, what happens after certain shots, how they react, what they're feeling, what they're thinking. And so if you want to get to that level, you need to get on their level, all right? So step number 1, get a journal you like that fits in your golf bag. I promise, if you like it, you'll write in it more. Maybe pick the college that you want to play at, or or maybe it's your country's flag, or maybe it's, I don't know, your favorite color, but pick a journal that fits in your golf bag, super easy to carry around. It's not super heavy, and that you can utilize after every round or practice, okay? Then put it in your bag, preferably with a pen or a pencil. Hopefully you have a golf pencil every time you're playing, but in case you don't, have the ability to use this before, or excuse me, after every single round, okay? Then after each practice or round, pick your best shot or hole and your worst shot or hole. And you can, it doesn't really matter. Just pick your best hole, pick your worst hole, and write down what happened. What were you thinking? What were you feeling? How long was the hole? What was the weather like? Write down all the things you can remember and think of about both of these experiences, because you'll start to notice patterns, okay? When you start to write down what was happening, and you start to look at, well, when it was windy, this is what happens. I always do this when it's windy, because this is how I think when it's windy, that it's hard, or that it's harder, or that I'm not very good in the wind. Or you start to notice you play really well when you play in the morning or something like that. And that doesn't mean you can't play well in other times of the day, but when you start to notice that, we can create those same thoughts no matter when you play. So start to create awareness, start to notice what's happening on each hole, and what is creating the best parts of your game and competition, and what's creating the worst parts of your game and competition. Because once you discover those things, you have the ability to make changes that really matter. Change your thoughts and it'll change your results, okay? So then I challenge you to do this for 2 weeks, okay? 2 weeks, anytime you play or practice afterwards. This can take like 5 to 10 minutes. Write down your thoughts about your best and worst shot, or your best and worst hole, and just keep a log. And then after 2 weeks, you go back and you start to look and you see what kind of patterns, what's happening when you hit poor shots, what's happening when you hit good shots, okay? And this is the beginning of changing your thoughts. And I would love for you to report back to me. Let me know how it's going. Let me know what you're noticing. Because as a coach, I help you to pick out those little things that are awesome and that help you, so that you can recreate them every time you compete. And then I help you pick out the things that are not helping you, that are not serving you, the feelings of frustration or anxiety or pressure or nervousness or fear. And we help change those into confidence and determination and motivation and excitement and fun. And so reach out to me, let me know how it's going. Tell me what you're thinking. And let's start to put you in a place where that every time you compete at the highest level that you can. And even if you're hitting a little bit of a draw or a little bit of a fade that you're not used to that day, the thoughts that you have will help to minimize the issues that can come from that and help you to get back on track, because your body and your mind are amazing. And the way they work together to do what you've taught them to do is incredible. So let's teach your mind and your body to work together to play your best golf game every time you compete. Okay, so when you start to fully understand that thoughts create all your results, you have the opportunity to change those thoughts and change your results. So let's start working on that. Let's start doing that. Get yourself a journal. I promise this works. I do it every day, not even around golf, but around my business or what my goals are personally. Whether it's to run a half marathon or to get up at 6:30 in the morning or whatever it is, I look at my thoughts and I look at the patterns, and so that I can perform the best that I know that I can perform. Okay, so this is just a quick tip, and we have a lot more where that's coming from. But I want to turn the time over to Mark to tell you a little bit about recovery, which is like one of the best kept secrets in golf. No one talks about recovery that much, but if you can take advantage of recovery, it will change your game.
Perfect. Well, thanks, Lauren. That's awesome. I need to start journaling. I totally need to start journaling. That is some great tips there. All right. Well, so now that she has taught you a little bit about your mind, I'm going to take this to the next level, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about recovery. Like she said, recovery is a huge buzzword. A lot of people don't really take advantage of what you can take advantage in terms of recovery. They focus too much of their time on offense. So I look at recovery as defense. So offense is eating well, going to the gym, making sure that you're doing those things that are going to build you up. Defense is making sure you're doing the things that aren't going to break you down, like eating properly, sleeping, moving. So those are the types of things that I'm going to really touch on today. But recovery is something that is as close to the magic pill as you're going to get in terms of exercise and fitness. Everyone's looking for that quick fix or that magic pill that's going to make them hit the ball 50 yards farther or lose weight or whatever it may be. But recovery really is the closest thing to that magic pill that you can get. So let's get started. We're all here today, or we're here because we struggle or we want to know more about recovery. I think that I don't think we should struggle with recovery anymore. And this is why. There's three major things that I want to talk about today. And I mean, there's 100 things we could talk about, but there's three major action items that I want everyone who's on this webinar to consider and to start doing today. So first, I want to talk about the three different areas. So the three different areas, we'll go through each one individually, but sleeping, nutrition, and daily movements. Now, everyone's heard we need to go to sleep and everyone's heard we need to eat healthy, but I'm going to be a little more specific with what I'm talking about and how it actually impacts you and your game. So the first area is sleep. And a lot of people think, I mean, sleep, I'll sleep when I'm dead. I'll sleep just to survive. I've heard so many people over the times and over the years say certain things like that. Where they don't value sleep. They don't feel like sleep is really the thing that is going to impact them the most. But there's so much data out there now in terms of wearing wearable technology like the Whoop band or an Apple Watch or a Fitbit or an Oura Ring or anything like that, that allows you to track sleep. And it really shows you if you're recovering or not, because you will get something called like your heart rate variability, or you'll understand based off the biometrics that you get from wearable technology, how this is impacting your body. If you have less than, what I say to all my athletes is 7 hours is non-negotiable. You need 7 hours sleep every single night at a very minimum, but I say you need to shoot for 8+. And if you can do that, you're going to assure that you are kind of recovering the right way or the way that you should be in terms of your sleep. Now, a lot of the times people don't have that much time, or they think they don't have that much time. The reason you don't have that much time might be because you spend 2 hours a night watching TV, or you get up an hour, or you get up early because you want to get up and do something before you have to actually start your daily tasks. I challenge you to, for the next week, make sure you get at least 7 hours and shoot for 8 hours sleep every single night. And then compare how you felt last week to this week and see if there's a difference. And just like Lauren said, you can report back to me. I want to hear how that goes. But the next part of this is, so 8 hours a night. The next part of this is create a daily routine. So maybe that's, I wake up every single day at the same time, not Monday to Friday, Monday to Sunday. I get up every single day at the same time. Now you can give yourself a little bit of wiggle room there for the weekends if you want to sleep in a little bit longer. I would say move plus or minus an hour. So you can go higher an hour or lower an hour, but you still need to fall into that 7 hours is non-negotiable, 8 hours is what we're shooting for. Now, a daily routine would be, I get up at the same time and I go to bed at the same time. Another thing to consider if you do struggle with sleeping is eliminating screen time and eliminating, or even just watching TV or anything like that, any kind of stimulus with light right before you go to bed. They usually say between 30 minutes and 60 minutes before you actually go to sleep. So start to consider that and go forward into your sleep schedule and get 7 to 8 hours a night, go to bed every day at the same time, wake up every day at the same time, and you will start to feel the actual benefits of sleeping. I used to, when I was younger, sleep 4 or 5 hours a night, and I was sore all the time, and I was never really improving. Let's say I wasn't really getting worse, but I wasn't really improving. Since I've made sleep a priority, I mean, the improvements I've made in my strength, power, endurance is unbelievable, to be honest. Like I'm somebody who's getting older every year, and I'm still getting stronger, and I'm still not breaking down because I'm focusing on things like this. You're going to hear me say this a lot. At the end of the day, it's not, you need to sleep 8 hours once a week, twice a week. It's consistency. If you can be around these parameters every single day, you're going to be in the right boat. If you sleep 8 hours once a week and the rest of the week you sleep 3 hours a night, That's not what we're looking for. And that's really a recipe for injury, a recipe for chronic disease, a recipe for not improving. I'll tell you right now, my tagline right now is from average to elite. If you want to be elite, and if you want to be like the people on the PGA Tour or the LPGA Tour, you are going to really focus on your sleep, and you're going to start tracking it to see if you're getting enough of it. You see that in the Tour Championship, they had Rory, they had JT wearing those Whoop bands, and they're checking his heart rate. That's what they use to monitor their sleep. And I'll guarantee you, anyone on the tours is focusing on their sleep for recovery. So step one is sleep. Step two is nutrition. And this shouldn't be a light bulb either. This is something that we all understand, but how do we implement it? Try to eliminate processed foods from your life. Don't go into the middle aisles if you have to at a grocery store. Try and stay on the outer ring of a grocery store. The reason being, that's usually where all the fresh food is. The fresh fruit, fresh vegetables. You're going to get stuff that hasn't been highly processed. So my first point is whole foods. So eliminate processed foods and try to eat as many whole foods as you can in your diet. The next thing I would say is try to have plant diversity. And what I mean by that is try to eat what's in season, right? Our bodies react differently to all different types of plants around the world, whether that be vegetables, fruits, grains, legumes. You should try to have as many different plants in your diet as you can as possible, because they all benefit us in a different way. So a good kind of rule of thumb or a good kind of marker would be try to have 30 different plants per week. So for instance, I'll give you 5 different plants or 5 different things that come from a plant: an apple, a banana, broccoli, kale, and then like lentils. So those are all different, and that's 5 different things. A great way to do this, and a great way that you can have a lot at once, is to make something like smoothies. So every morning I make a smoothie, and in that smoothie, and you don't have to make this exactly the same, but this will just give you some ideas. I make a smoothie with a fresh banana, frozen berries, a whole avocado, fresh pineapple, fresh blueberries, flaxseed, protein powder, and water. And then I have 3 amino acid pills, fish oil pills at the same time every single morning. So that would give me a lot of this diversity and a lot of this good quality nutrition that I want right to start my day. And I'm not worried about as much if I'm hitting all those other parameters, because I know I got a lot in the morning. The other thing is water. So water, I tell my clients to drink 3 liters of water at a minimum. Think about golfing. When you go and golf and you're outside for 4 hours or 5 hours in whatever temperature that might be, obviously in the summer, in the heat of it, it's going to be very hot. You lose so much water. So just keeping that as like a baseline of 3 liters of water a day that you consume is going to assure that you're really consuming enough water so that you're not dehydrated. Dehydration, poor nutrition, poor sleep is a recipe for poor performance. And we don't want poor performance. We want elite performance. And again, at the end of the day, you can eat great all week, and then off the weekend you don't eat great. You're not going to continue to improve at the same rate. You need to have consistency Monday through Sunday. The weekend is not meant to eat McDonald's and everything else in the world that is bad for you because you've been eating healthy all week. You need to think of this as a marathon, not a sprint. And all of your actions are going to have implications if you continue to do this. If you want to be on the top level, you need to start thinking about this as consistency. I do this Monday through Sunday, not Monday through Friday. So whole foods, lots of diversity in terms of the plants that you're consuming, at least 3 liters of water, and consistency. The weekends, I mean, some people say weekenditis or they live for the weekends. That's so backward thinking. You should be thinking that on the weekends you have more time. That's where you should be planning out your meals and cooking meals. You shouldn't be just consuming bad food because it's a weekend. So think about that. So that's step 2. So we got sleep, nutrition, and the last step is moving. So a lot of people think that golf is exercise, and to be honest, it is exercise, but it's physical. It's just moving. It's not actually exercise. Exercise is structured. So it's structured to meet an adaptation, or it's structured to obtain a goal. Moving is something we should all just do in general because we're human beings and we're not meant to just sit. So every single day you should be doing some sort of movement. I hate the fact that the world thinks we should only exercise 2 to 3 times a week. I think that is ridiculous. I think that is so backward thinking, because then you're giving people an excuse to do nothing for 4 days a week or 5 days a week. You should be doing some sort of physical activity every single day. Does that mean that I'm going to squat or deadlift as much as I can every single day and sprint and run as far as I can every day? No. But that does mean that I'm moving my body every single day. So I always give my athletes mobility programs that they can do daily. So that would be something you do every single day. But then you have, that's low impact. That's not really going to put a lot of demand. You're not going to be sore from it. But then you should be doing these strength and power movements a few other times during the week as well as implementing some kind of cardiorespiratory activity like walking to ensure that we have healthy hearts. Now, we want to go from average to elite, or we want to be elite and we want to play at a high level. But in order to do that, we need to be healthy. And what makes us actually click is our heart. So I feel like a lot of people think that they shouldn't be doing cardiorespiratory activity because they're golfing, and what does it matter? Why do I have to do cardio? Because cardio is directly correlated with your heart. And if your heart doesn't work, I don't care. You're not going to be able to hit the ball or make a putt. So you still need to implement some kind of cardiorespiratory activity into, whether that's walking, cycling, running, swimming, rowing. There's so many different options out there, but just move. I have so many golfers that come and see me in April and May, and they are just broken from doing nothing all winter. They're stiff. They've lost the mobility that they gained throughout the year. They decided to come back because they need that quick fix to get back into golf shape. And it's like, you've broken yourself over the last few months. If you would have just done some of these movements that we talked about before, you would have been great now, especially as you age. I know that a lot of the people watching this are probably junior golfers or your parents of junior golfers, but as you continue to age, the first thing that you lose is mobility. And as you continue to age, that mobility you had as a child continues to get smaller and smaller, or the range of motions get smaller and smaller. So your joints aren't going to move freely like they used to if you don't start to implement this stuff at a young age. So mobility training, strength training, power training, it should all be done weekly, but mobility training should be something that you focus on every single day. Okay. Walking or cardiorespiratory training should all be done weekly, but that's something you're not going to push to your higher limit every single day, but you could do something like walking every single day. And again, I've said all these things, but it all comes back to consistency. If you're not consistent, all of these things are just going to go by the wayside. They're not going to be something that stick and help to continue to improve over time, right? I say this to all my clients, and I'm going to continue to say this in these webinars, is it's a marathon. Whether that's athletics, whether that's our lives, whether that's what we want to do in fitness, whether that's what we want to do in golf, it's a marathon. And we have to treat baby steps like that and continue to improve and make good decisions every single day consistently. So to recap, we have sleep, 8 hours a night is what we're shooting for. 7 hours is non-negotiable. Create a daily routine for waking up and going to sleep, and be consistent. Eat lots of whole foods, stay out of the stuff that's very processed and highly processed. Make sure you have a lot of plant diversity. 30 items is kind of what we're shooting for at a minimum. I mean, that's a minimum. Get up to 100 or even more if you can. Drink lots of water, 3 liters at a minimum. If you're playing a lot of golf, you can try to drink more. But with both of these things, consistency. We don't just live for the weekend and throw all these rules out on the weekend. We try to do these things every weekend as well as during the week. And then finally is move. So if we're not moving, our body's going to stiffen up. We're not going to be able to recover. We're not going to continue to be able to play this sport at a higher level. We're not going to be able to do the things we want to do. So we got to move. If you do like what I've done, and I know I will send this back to Lauren after to kind of finish up, but follow me on social media. I have accounts on every single platform, basically Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. I'm on all those accounts. Everything would be CSC, performance coaching. please check out my YouTube channel and subscribe if you can. I put out a lot of content on YouTube, and I'm trying to drive that channel. If you did sign up for this, you will receive my mobility programs in the next few days. Once we kind of get a list of everyone that's here, I'll send that to everyone. But thank you very much for listening to me, and I'm going to bring Lauren back in, and we can kind of just wrap up here.
Yes, yes. And that was awesome, Mark, because I was thinking consistency with thought awareness too. That's why I tell you to do it for 2 weeks and do it consistently, because that's the only way you're going to get better at these little things that kind of seem insignificant sometimes, but these are like the powerhouse magic pills, like Mark said, that if
100%.
you really take the time, the little time to do these things every day and every week, it's going to make the biggest difference in your golf game. So that was awesome. I'm just going to share really quick that we have a new Facebook group. It's called How to Win for Parents and Competitive Golfers. And Mark and I are both going to be posting in this just free content about working on your mind and working on your body. And it's also a place, Mark and I are both very familiar with the golf world and with recruiting and physical, mental skills, even like even clubs. Like we're in the golf world. And so if you have any questions or tournaments that you should be playing in or looking at, like go in there and ask us any questions, and we'd love to help you, because our main goal is to help as many junior golfers reach their potential and their goals to become elite golfers as we can. So please utilize that group. The other thing is what Mark was just saying, our contact information, our emails, our Instagrams, websites, and follow Mark on YouTube as well. The other thing, Mark said he would send the mobility program if you were here today. However, we really appreciate you taking the effort to register. So if you watch this as a replay and you reach out to us via email, then we would love to send you the free materials that we send out to those who attend as well, because we like effort and we reward effort. So we'd love to hear from you. And please, like we said, jot this email down and report back to us in the next couple of weeks. Let us know. You can even put us both on an email if that's easiest than writing two. And just let us know, how is the mental work going? How is the journal going? What patterns are you noticing? And then how is your sleep, your nutrition, and your mobility going? What are you doing? Is it working? Are you seeing little things? Are you struggling with anything? Because Mark can give you all the tips to figure that out. So thanks again for joining us. And we hope to see you next time. We do these once a month, so be on the lookout for registration for the next month.
Thank you, everyone. It was great.